had the privilege of catching up with my mate Tolu. He suffered from depression. This is his side of the story. Tell me about what you suffered with.
I suffered with what I now know as a clinical depression, but I just didn't know it at the time. Yeah, it just crept up so slowly, but then when you look back, actually it was quite a quick transition from being okay to being not okay.
What events led to this?
So my whole life, everything had gone right on track. My mum and dad had come over from Nigeria in the 80s with my sisters, and they had a really tough time kind of fitting in here culturally. So by the time I came along, I was born in England, everything was already on a plate, prepared for me to kind of thrive in a culture that wasn't theirs. And so even all the way up to university, everything was perfect until I had a car crash, and I wrote off my first car. And that was the first thing ever in 22 years that had gone wrong, like majorly wrong, which is late. It's late to have something that knocks you, and it was so late that I was kind of up on a pedestal, and something had gone a little bit rocked, and I didn't know how to deal with that. It knocked me out of uni for a few months, which meant my final year went a bit down the pan. Not a bit, a lot. And I had to resit it. And so a few other things kind of happened, the death of the family, and stuff was going on at home financially, and I had a drugs accusation that was proved to be false, and trying to apply for jobs, and all sorts of stuff happened at the same time that I tried to deal with on my own, and I couldn't. And so I just slowly kind of curled up into a little ball until I couldn't take it anymore, and I just left Manchester and tried to deal with this thing on my own.
What did you do to help yourself?
I think the first thing I did was, well, if I can call it something that I did, I just realised that something was wrong. And that was a huge step. It took like 8-9 months. I was in this forest, this kind of, the analogy is a forest, a dark forest where you don't even realise you're in it because it's so comfortable in the dark and in your own space. You've got no motivation, you've cut yourself off from everything until you realise there's a speck of light in the forest, and you realise actually this isn't normality anymore. You don't know how long you've been there, but you realise there's something on the outside. So I just started making connections with people that I knew. I just started sticking a hand out. It wasn't like I had to do anything, although no one could help me if I didn't want to help myself. So I had to stick that hand out at least for someone to help and grab it, and they did, and people got around me and I got back on track.
So what would be your top 3 tips on recovering from depression?
Yeah, number 1 is just the realisation that something's wrong. That's a massive step. And number 2 is to make that move, to stick that hand out. Nobody can help you. It's the one condition where nobody can help you unless you want to be helped. So yeah, sticking that hand out is a brave thing, and just allow someone to grab it. Number 3 is when you're out of it, just realise that you're not invulnerable, that you're not invincible. It's a harsh thing to say, but life isn't perfect. Like, you can be knocked again, but it's just realise you've put a monument down, that you've beat the thing, so you can beat it again.
How are you now?
I'm good now. I'm in a good place, a much wiser place, a much stronger place, in that I realise that stuff isn't going to be perfect all the time. So now, I'm a musician now, full time, which I never thought would happen in my ideal of what life would look like. It didn't look like this. It didn't look like doing something that I was passionate about and being able to earn a living from it. So it opened a lot of doors for me, actually, being ill and kind of having that blank canvas to kind of be like, what do I want to be? What do I want to get out of this life? So yeah, I'm music full time, and I love it.